have to go through 10 things. We are live on Facebook, my friend. How are you, Jordan?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today. I'm hoping we get a few people that are going to tune in, listen in, and get some amazing advice from you on career and confidence. So tell me about that. What does a career and confidence coach do? What do you do? What do you help people with?
So basically, I work with young professionals in order to boost their confidence in their skills and their abilities, but mostly it's to boost that overall confidence that you need in order to find your ideal career. So
Right.
while we work with, like the mindset and the positivity, we also work on like technical know-how, like resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn, so stuff like that.
That's amazing. And would you help people like that are switching careers as well? Or is it just people coming out of college? Like what's your ideal person that you kind of work with?
So young professionals is kind of broad,
Sure.
but I guess the term you could probably switch with that is millennials. So
Yeah.
if you're transitioning to another career and you're still considered like a young professional, then of course. But right now, maybe later in the future, I'm not quite working with executives yet, but we'll get there.
Oh, I can see that for sure. That's amazing. Awesome. So, I mean, tell me what mindset has to do with your career and confidence. What's mindset about? I know what mindset's about in your day to day and your like
Yeah.
abundance, but yeah, what's that all about?
Yeah. So even with abundance and like even you can use like law of attraction, that type of stuff,
Yeah.
affirmations in your career because these are things that it's not like a short race. It's a long game. So
Yes.
we have to keep our mindset and our mind in the game because especially for people that have like really long drawn out periods of job search or say they've been in a job for maybe 1, 2, 3 years and they're not happy and they're feeling stuck. The first part of that is mindset and being like, okay, you know what, I might be here, but there
Right.
are things that I can do in order to help my circumstance or to promote positivity in my life rather than just waking up and dreading it being Monday because I have to go to work.
Absolutely. And especially right now, so many people are dreading that. Even if they're just going from their bedroom to their couch to their office, you're dreading that. So what kind of stuff do you get them to do? How would you help me
So
want to jump out of bed in the morning around my career?
so basically it is a lot of goals. It's very goal focused. So
Right.
it's not, we're just going to get you any old job. It's basically we sit down in the first part of the program and we actually figure out what you want, gain clarity. Because sometimes, even before we go looking for a job, we don't know what we want. So we
For
have
sure.
to gain that clarity. And that's a perfect part of mindset is that clarity on what we want to do. People call themselves multifaceted. I like to call myself that too. And that just means you have a lot of ideas and a lot of things you want to do.
And not a lot of focus, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there something you can show me while we're on a call around clarity? Like, do you ask a bunch of questions or how do you help someone with that?
So it is it's a lot of question and answer because I
Okay.
don't want to force clarity onto you. I want
No.
you to get it. No,
Uh-huh.
I mean like if you were a client.
No, I get
So
it. No, I know what you mean.
so basically I want to know what you want. And then for example, a client could say, I want to be I want to work in the medical field or the health field. And I'm like, okay, where? Like what? That's such a big, broad
Oh,
field.
yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? Or even like they want to work in business. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy broad. So we chop it down and narrow things down. I'm not saying you have to do one specific thing your whole entire life, but once we get clarity, once we know, hey, I want to be an executive assistant because A, B, C, and D, then we can figure that out.
Absolutely. I know, so to sort of add on to that, when I'm working with my clients as well, and we're trying to get clarity, what do you want? And they usually can list off what they don't want. right? So it comes down to, I mean, that's the easier part. I don't want to sit at a desk all the time, or I don't want to. And so I don't want to be overweight anymore, or I
Mhm.
don't want to be tired all the time, or I don't want to feel like crap all the time. And so it's like talking to people and saying, well, what would you like instead? And
Mhm.
why is that important to you? And you just kind of have to keep asking that of yourself in order to dig in deep and find out what is really important. And it surprises everyone what's really important at the end of it, right? What's really important is that you want to be usually accepted and approved of, or other things like that. It didn't come down to feeling like crap, or not having energy, or picking a broad kind of thing. So yeah, I get mindset and clarity. That's awesome. We need it in everything, and I think it's important to have someone that can help guide you through that, and give you some confidence around it. Um, Speaking of that, honestly, I didn't even plan that was my segue, but I kind of love it anyway. So giving you some clarity would help you with some confidence, I'm going to guess, and because I know that's what we do, like as I do as a wellness coach.
Mhm.
Um, so what does it do, is what else helps build your confidence, and how do you help your clients build the confidence for their careers?
So I feel like confidence comes from it comes from within, but in that it comes from knowledge. So when we work on the technical know-how, how do I do my resume? How do I network? How do I,
Yeah.
leverage LinkedIn? When you know something and you understand it, you get more confident in it. It's just like if you were to go to work and you're brand
Mhm.
new and then you start doing it every single day or working there, you're going to be confident in your skills at some point because you're doing it all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I say the same around movement or exercise. You can't expect to walk in, and it doesn't have to be a gym, but to anything, yoga, whatever your thing is, and be the expert in it the first time. It takes time and working at it and know how, and then you're able to like just walk in and do it like it's second nature. And that comes from everything. That goes with everything. So that's a really great point, that getting the technical down helps
Mhm.
you get some confidence in the rest of the way you go. So in that, are there, again, I'll go back to that, are there special things you take your clients through that helps them build confidence, or is it just around like that technical LinkedIn resume kind of stuff?
It's technical, but there are other things that you can do. Something that I've suggested in the past. I don't know if you're aware of it, Toastmasters.
Oh yeah,
It,
absolutely.
oh, perfect. So it's like this public speaking, you know, way to get that practice. And the
Sure.
only way for you to get confident, you just don't wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm confident, is to practice
That's right.
and put yourself in those situations that are out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
So before, I haven't been in Toastmasters, but before I had to, speak and whatever and talk to clients or on stages or whatever, I did not like public speaking. And even
Yeah.
now, I'm just like, because I feel like it's just a nerve wracking thing.
Sure.
But because we practice and because we do these things over and over, even though you're nervous, you still go out and do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
So practicing Toastmasters, even something social, like if they're having a hard time, like speaking up in meetings, then I say, okay, the a way to stimulate that is go out and meet people, meetup.com or things like that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. We have Toastmasters here, in Canada and Ontario and things like that. And you know what? It's something I would recommend to anybody who's looking for some confidence in. Not, it doesn't mean they need to be a coach or speak on stages, or, it gives them some confidence to be able to just stand up the right way and hold their own and say what they need to
mhm.
say. So definitely a young, new to career out of college, millennial who is so used to, and no offense, I don't mean like that,
Yeah.
but they're so used to everything being like on a screen most of the time, right?
Hmm.
It's amazing to get out there and get live and talk in front of people who are doing the same thing as you are. So again, I go back to, I say the same thing about, surrounding yourself with people who want to boost you up. So
Yeah.
it's, Toastmasters is a great opportunity for that.
Yep.
Normally I would say the gym, but other like-minded people who like to walk. There's exercise things that are virtual and stuff like that now too. Like just moving your body And I think that goes for career too. Honestly, if you're feeling like you're in front of your desk all the time, whether it's studying or writing your thesis or whatnot, you got to move.
Yeah.
You got to move your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So LinkedIn can be such an overwhelming bubble.
Yeah.
Feels like there's a ton of rules and etiquette around things on there. Tell me how you kind of mastered LinkedIn and what you take your clients through on that.
So I think that LinkedIn is kind of like other social medias, but it's just a little bit more professional. Now
Sure.
it's moving slightly away from that, where
Yeah.
people are saying, hey, you know what, this is the real me, the personal me, and they're sharing those things. But a lot of times people use it to get jobs, to network. And I think that the one thing that I like to start off with is your profile, because when your profile and your headline, so when people click onto your page, they're going to see your headline and they're going to see your profile. So for example, if your profile says open to opportunities, great. A lot of people say that. So what next? So you want to put maybe open to administrative opportunities or nursing opportunities, just so that people know, because they're not going to click.
Yeah.
Be specific, because they're not going to click on every single person that says open for opportunities. And then your profile is just, it's not a copy and paste of your resume.
Right.
It's more so of a general, like paragraph or two or bullet points about how you are, the best or at what you do. And that's where people kind of get to know you a little bit more so than in your resume, where it's like cut and dry, I increased, corporate capacity by 15% or something like that.
Yeah. Some of your value you would add for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think LinkedIn may have started off as people just literally posting their resume and then looking for jobs and then collaborating or selling. And it became very selly. And now I think you're right. It's kind of moving from that. I see a lot more emotion in it, if that's probably not the right description, but there's, that people are talking more about well-being and a lot more stuff that is touchy-feely and important in your career, and wellness being part of that as well. So I see a lot of that when I'm on LinkedIn. And I think that's a good point. I think if people used to put their entire resume on there and give the whole show, now they're kind of pulling back from that. And I think that's some great advice, is to put a brief summary of your very clear career goals or what you want.
No, that's actually career goals or things that you've done, something that makes you stand out from, the tons of other people that are trying to get either the same job or something similar to you. So
right, absolutely. And so what do you think about posting on LinkedIn? Like, are you a fan of it? Do you want someone should they be a pro before they post on LinkedIn about stuff, or what's the sort of rule?
No, actually, so for example, let's say I were to go on LinkedIn and start looking, for people, and I had a job that I needed to fill. I'm going to go through and use the search engine and type in, I'm using the same example, but executive assistant, right?
Sure.
So I type that in, and I might do something where it says executive assistant open for opportunities or something. And basically, if someone sees that you have been active, I'm not saying you need to spend your life on LinkedIn, but if someone sees you're active, you've commented, that's really, as far as like the basic version of LinkedIn, the free one, that's basically how people know that you're active. If you haven't commented, if you haven't posted anything, you don't even have to really like write. I know people are writing articles now.
Sure.
I think that's something that you can do in order to showcase, let's say you're in like a creative space, you can put up some stuff from your portfolio, or if you're in other spaces where you have to show examples of your work, I think that's a great place to do it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think that if you're networking and utilizing LinkedIn like to its fullest potential, then they're going to see, hey, this person, you know, they commented yesterday. They're definitely up and about on their LinkedIn. Because I had just a person yesterday that was saying, oh, I haven't used my LinkedIn in a long time. And that sometimes happens. We get a job and we're like, okay, I don't need it anymore. And then you have to go back and you're like, oh, I have to update it all. And I have to reach out to my network. And I'm like, well, if you go in there once a week, comment on some stuff, you know, even if it's just your friend's stuff, comment on your colleague's stuff, or, you know, an article or something, then you definitely are going to show presence, and then you can work on networking from there. You just don't want to ghost your LinkedIn.
Right. So what if I have a job, but I'm open to opportunities? I'm not going to put that as my LinkedIn title, right? Because then my boss will find out and like be, you know, hitting the roof. So how is just to stay active, or what do you do to sort of let people know that you're open?
So you want to stay active, and honestly, you can reach out, because I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't want my boss to know. Which is, I can understand that if you're just like trying to job search on the sly. Sure. But
which I think most people do. Well, now, I mean, there's a lot of people without a job, so maybe they're not so sly, but it's still a good point to figure out.
Yeah, I think that in the long run, you reaching out and like building relationships, just like with anything, is going to do you like a lot better than just, you know, posting up open for opportunities and praying someone reaches out to you.
Yeah. Take some action for yourself. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that in any area of your life too, is that take some very specific action. But I think your point to being active on LinkedIn all the time, I think an easy one is that people's anniversaries come up of their job, and you can just say congratulations, and that you're kind of still, you're active, and you're keeping your network warm, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you know what, it can give you some confidence as well if you're reaching out to people, and then you don't feel weird if you do need to have a job, or reach out to them for opportunities that you haven't spoken to them or said anything. You're like, hey, I just said congratulations, or I said, hey, how's it going last week or a month or two ago. Then you don't feel so weird reaching out to them saying, hey, any opportunities? I see there's a spot open in your company or whatever, right?
Yeah. And I think you make a good point. And I think it's more so keeping those lines of communication open. Yeah. And so it's almost like you're cold messaging people, which is kind of a funny concept.
Awkward.
But yeah. So in LinkedIn, there's just when people get new jobs or they have like anniversaries or something, it literally will show you the little text box, and it'll be like, congrats, you know, kudos to you. Click the text box, hit send, and you're good. Keep it simple.
Absolutely. Okay. So what about resume? I mean, you're not going to post the whole thing on LinkedIn, but what are some top tricks that you would say? There's so many different templates, and people pour over the resume, and then they get someone who's an expert to look at it, and they just rip it apart. So what's the best way to keep your resume, shiny and up to date, and all that?
So I actually have a trick that even I use, because I have a 9-to-5 too. So I have this cute little journal. It's like not even a full, 8.5 by 11. It's a small journal, and anything that I do that I think is, relevant or, good, I just write it down. And I keep it in my drawer, and I write it down.
Like key accomplishments, or what are you writing?
No, like, for example, if I complete a project, or I, collaborate with someone in a team setting, I'll put collaborated with so-and-so on this project. So that I can remember, because let's say 6 months down the line and you're looking for a job, or you're even putting in like a promotional package, you're going to have to sit and scrape your brain and be like, okay, what did I do for the last 6 months? And you're like, and so everything in that journal is something that I can write to my resume. And that's something that I suggest to people, is keeping a small journal, because it's easier than just like throwing it on paper and you gotta find the paper. But just keeping that, and then on your resume, to me, and this is also dependent upon your industry, because creatives like to get creative, but for me, I
Yeah,
think
we do.
keeping it simple. So I know a lot of times people, um, they're like, oh, I want to put a picture on there. I don't think you should put your picture on your resume.
No, I
Yeah,
hear
no.
you.
And I've
Having
seen it.
hired thousands of people, and I'm not exaggerating, but over my lifespan of the picture doesn't help me make a decision anyway.
Yeah. Wasting valuable space.
That's right. That's right.
Valuable space.
That's a
And
great
then,
idea. I like the journaling idea. I always suggest that to my clients anyway, is how can you know you've improved if you don't have a journal, right? So it doesn't have to take an hour every night. It can take 10 minutes. And why not say that, here's my work journal. I'm going to take 5 minutes and say, here's the things I did today or this week. Even weekly, right?
yeah, weekly work too.
Yeah. And then daily, I have a gratitude journal. So what am I grateful for? Just keeps my focus on the positive. Like, because we said at the beginning, so many people can list off things they don't want, but what are you grateful for? And then just like your intake journal. So I write like how much water, how much movement, what good foods that I ate that day, or foods that I maybe ate that weren't so good, just so I can track and say the next day, well, I had a cheeseburger for dinner, and the next day I feel kind of crappy. Oh wait, because I had a cheeseburger for dinner. So, I'm not knocking cheeseburgers as an example.
Yeah, I love cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Okay, so you have another trick. I think journaling even once a week about your resumes is an awesome idea. Wouldn't have thought of that. That's great. What else? What else do you suggest?
Keeping it simple. So keep the crazy script and the 18 bullet point, 18 font, like keep that away.
Yeah.
When people are looking at your resume, they're scanning it. They're not reading every single word. So, and it's actually funny you brought this up, because I've seen really big differences between like CVs, which are like, I guess, used more so outside of the United States, and then resumes. So I've seen like on CVs, people will bold like certain statements and words and stuff so that it can be seen. But I've seen more so like in the United States, we just do it like plain. The only thing you bold is like the titles and stuff. But a trick to do is when you're writing your resume, make it quantifiable. So numbers, people love numbers. Increased productivity 15%. You started something that, made the company an extra, $15,000 or something. Just make it,
or save them, right? That's good too.
Or save them. Yep.
Yeah. Quantifiable is great. So measurable, make it measurable.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I like those in goals also. So is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Like to put in a timestamp around it, in this amount of time I did this, and like, and saved my company this much money.
Because they're looking for what you can bring to the table, and knowing that you've already saved or helped another company make, or even, it doesn't even have to be money. It could be, I created this and it saved us so much time, or I collaborated with this person, saved us so much time. So
and time is something that I think a lot more people would be able to say, like, maybe you're not in a position that you can save the money or that you can quantify the money, but if you established a process that saved people time, that's money too. That's money for that company. That's value, right? Yeah, no, for sure. That's amazing. Do you have any other tips on the resume? I'm not sure if you have anything else you can think of. So I think keeping it quantifiable, keep it simple. I bold stuff, but I mean, that's a personal preference. I just bold a couple of words here and there. I want people to highlight.
I see it. And it's like I said, it's a difference of like region or where you are.
Sure.
Because that's what I've seen, but it's, it's cool.
For sure. And people do skim it. I think it's the same as social media. And that way you have about 30 seconds to catch someone who may or may not even understand, like in IT where I used to be, the HR folks may not know what all the technical jargon is or words that are on there. So trying to get it through that bit. Any tips on, I think it's just being specific, right? And making sure it's quantifiable or measurable.
Yep, actually have, well, I'm gonna combine these. So you want to use keywords. So if the job description says we want a goal-oriented leader, even though those are considered cliche words, you are on your resume a goal-oriented leader.
Got it.
So it helps you get through any software that they might be using to like weed people out. And then I always have this, I don't want to call it a battle, but like a back and forth. As far as length goes,
right.
If you're new, like a lot of the people that I tend to work with,
yeah,
1 to 2, and 2, I'm like, and it depends on your work experience.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, they like try to, like, even if they have 3 or 4 years of experience, try to mash it into one paper, and then it looks all chunky. And I'm like,
no one's reading that.
Yeah, no one's gonna read that. So if you need to, go ahead and do 2 pages. I did see recently one that was entirely too long. It was like 8 pages. I don't know how long they were working, because I was just like glancing at it for someone. Yeah. But I was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, this is, some of this doesn't pertain to the job that you are applying for. So we just gotta cut it. Like, we have to cut it.
Well, I've been working for over 20 years. That's all I'm saying. And mine is 4 pages. And I have had a ton of jobs and, you know, accomplishments and all that kind of stuff. So 8 is, as a hiring person, I would not be reading 8. So I agree with that. I think millennials or people with a few years experience, you can get it to 2. You can get your job experience on 1 and all your highlights and whatnot on 1, and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Awesome. So any other advice you want to share today, Jordan, on confidence or on career or something that I know I'm going to post below as well, and I have a little bit where everyone can find you if they need, which is, you know, you're so needed right now with people, so many people looking for jobs or just finishing college. But any other sage advice before we sign off for this fabulous Friday?
So I just want people to realize that you are in control of your overall career path. Now, it may seem like, you know, the people you work for are like controlling it, but you have the choice to, you know, pick where you want to work, stay there, walk away. And if you feel like you don't, then that's part of the confidence thing. And that's something that, you know, if we were to work together or a client or whatever, that's what we would tackle. Because now it's kind of like, you know, weird because of the
new world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, new world. But when the world does open back up, as I say, there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to be looking to bring people back or even hire new people, because there's going to be a different type of job market. There's going to be more remote opportunities. There's going to be more just different types of opportunities for people. And I think that we just have to stay optimistic about that, and don't let the current climate discourage you from applying right now. Make sure you're still applying. Make sure you're networking, because a lot of jobs, they're not even posting. So make sure you're networking and just keep going. That's my thing. Keep going.
Yeah. And I liked what you said about, like, is you're in control of that. It's the same with your health, with anything. Like, you can take action and put it back in your control, whether you have a boss or you don't, whether you have, you know, you're a nurse and you work 12 hours a day, you can still, you can take responsibility and take measured action on your own career or life or health or, you know, whatever it's going to be. And part of that is reaching out and doing and taking action. So reaching out and networking or going for your walk every day, whatever that's going to be, it's going to give you some confidence to take control back of your life and your health and your career and your confidence. So I love that. Listen, this has been fantastic. I can't thank you enough for all your advice, and I hope that my audience, your audience, got a lot of value out of this. We're talking to a peak athlete coach next week.
Nice.
Lou, you've met her, I think, virtually from our cohort, and she has some of the best mindset stuff that I've ever heard, and the best story of how
Mhm.
she became a coach. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to work with you again as well. So again, I said I'll leave your how to get in contact with you below on our comments, and anybody has any questions or comments, they can reach out to you, right? We'll send their
Yeah.
LinkedIn DM on Instagram and find your YouTube channel, right?
Yep, just all that, everything.
All that.
You can reach
All
me
that'll be
everywhere.
there. Sounds great. All right. Have a great weekend. Thanks again, Jordan.
All right, thank you guys.